previous section, I discussed money and commodities. Now, let me explain how capital comes to life. When I first observed the economic activities of a capitalist society, I didn't immediately label it capitalism. I simply found myself puzzled. Why does money generate more money? Why are some people extremely wealthy, while others are poor? Surely, there must be some systemic secret behind this. So I began thinking about the essence of capital. Where does capital come from? How is it transformed and grown? Capital isn't just money. It's a network of relationships. Many people think that when someone has a bag of coins, or a bank account filled with deposits, that's capital. This is a misconception. Capital isn't static money. It's a special, dynamic social relationship. A gold coin lying at home is just a piece of metal, but when it enters the market, used to purchase raw materials, machines, labor, and is then transformed into a commodity and sold again, it becomes capital. This is the core process I discuss in capital. Money, commodity, money. Note that the final M is more money, money. Returns from the production process with a surplus. This surplus is the essence of capital movement. Let's look at an example. In a small town in the 19th century, there was a shoemaker named Franz who opened a shop. He used 100 gold coins to start his business. He spent 60 coins on renting a shop and buying tools, hammers, scissors, sewing machines, shelves. These are his tools and equipment. He spent another 30 coins on raw materials, cloth, leather, etc. The remaining 10 coins were set aside to cover rent, wages, and other expenses. At this point, Franz's money capital has turned into actual production tools and raw materials. Production capital. Money has become the things needed to run a business. Now production capital begins to transform into commodity capital. With tools and materials in hand, Franz hires a few workers, and they begin crafting shoes. The production capital, cloth, leather, has now turned into a pair of shoes. This is now commodity capital. Let's sell the shoes. If a pair of shoes costs 2 coins, then these shoes can be sold for 2 coins. This step is crucial. Only when customers accept the shoes does their value become fully realized. And so the cycle repeats. But are these 2 coins the same as the original money? No, they're not. The new money includes the costs of Franz's raw materials, rent, and wages. More importantly, there's an extra part. If the cost of 1 pair of shoes is 1 coin, then Franz has made 1 coin in profit. That's the new value created by his management, labor, and services. Franz can use these earned coins to pay more wages, buy more materials, upgrade equipment, or save a portion for later. So, more money capital is generated, and the cycle continues. Money capital transforms into production capital, using gold coins to invest in tools and materials for the shop. Then production capital transforms into commodity capital through labor. Raw materials and tools are turned into goods or services to sell. Finally, commodity capital is sold, and it becomes money capital. Selling the products or services generates money. Key point: the new money is greater than the old money. The money from selling products is usually more than the original investment because it includes the newly created value. This extra part is the key to how capital can accumulate. Think of it as a river that never stops flowing. Money buys tools and materials. Products are created, then sold for more money, more tools and materials, more products, more money. Capital flows, moves, and grows in this continuous transformation process. Transformation happens in the production process. I call this process the transformation of capital. What was once static money enters a dynamic system that creates surplus value through labor. After analyzing the entire production process, I discovered that capital can be divided into 2 parts. Constant capital. This part is used to buy raw materials, machines and factories. It does NT, create new value in production. It simply transfers its value to the finished product. Variable capital. This part is used to purchase labor. It is the source of capital's value growth because the value created by workers exceeds their wages. The extra portion is surplus value. As I once wrote, the distinction between constant capital and variable capital is the key to understanding the mechanism of surplus value generation. It's like this. A machine and a worker enter a factory together. The machine only transfers its depreciated value with each hour of use, but that worker, in 8 hours, produces more than the value of their wage. Capitalists understand this very well. Machines don't create surplus value, only human labor does. This explains why even advanced automation can fully replace the role of labor. The ultimate goal of capital, accumulation. Do you think capitalists would use the money they earn for vacations or consumption? Maybe a little, but most of the profit, that is, surplus value, gets reinvested into the production process for further capital accumulation. Thus, we see a classic cycle, MCPCM, MCPCM. This is the self-replicating, self-enhancing spiral movement of capital. Each cycle results in more capital and larger-scale exploitation of labor. As capital accumulates, wealth becomes increasingly concentrated in fewer hands, while workers are left with no choice but to sell their labor to survive.